Life is an ongoing surrendering. This is the mind. This is how the mind sees it. This is how the mind experiences it. And this is how it is for the mind. This is how the mind knows it. When you take up a new job, a completely new job, you surrender the old job. You don't go back pondering on the old job unless the new job is not what you expected. But there's a surrendering of the giving up. There's a surrendering of spring into summer. There's a surrendering of summer into winter. Many minds try and fight it. Many minds try and keep. Many minds don't like the surrendering of what they're not in control of, you see. Some people who experience this winter disease, I think it's called SAD, they don't want to give up the autumn or the summer or the spring. So life in itself, though, is uncontrollable through a natural environment, through nature. So is there a surrendering, or is there just an accepting, you see? This is when you start playing with words and realizing that words are just, every word is the same word. It's all based around I. It's all based around what I see, I know, I experience, I feel, I want, I have, I need, I give up, I take. So everything is based around I. Now, so many videos regarding I, so let's leave aside. But what can actually say, I gave up non-duality? Firstly, before you give up, whatever gives up non-duality, if there is a giving up, if there is just not another natural experience, then we have to understand what's taking place. So every single thing that lives is non-dual. It is a part. A part means a piece of, but it's not a piece of. There's no separation between anything in this living experience. There's no separation. You know, Osho speaks about the woolen cart. Papaji speaks about the tongue. How can it taste without being connected to the rest of the body, into the brain, into the emotions, into the senses? So all of these are important for just a simple taste. And the body is important. And the space and the environment, the landscape, the skies, the atmosphere, the stability of the earth and the universe, all plays a part on this little taste. Because one little slip from something, maybe earth, there's no taster, see? One little slip from the tongue, not reaching its intended, what it tastes for, the you. No taster. So non-duality is our true original nature and essence. And this is, so when a speaker says, I have experienced non-duality, and everyone else says, oh, I don't know what that is. That's absolutely ridiculous, because everything is non-dual already, you see. So what takes place? How can one give up non-duality? You see? Because it appeared to think that it had an experience from becoming dual into non-duality. Now what takes place is the mind begins to give up its idea that this duality, this me and them, this I and you, this me and the job, me and the ideas, me and the beliefs begin to start crumbling. Because we are all living in a world of duality as non-duality. And in fact, if you wanted to go further back, we're all living as zero, nothingness, emptiness, as non-duality, as duality. And then we experience triality and fourth dimensions and fifth dimensions and sixth dimensions and seventh dimensions. But to experience one or the other, it appears that if we have to give up the one before. So to experience non-duality is for the mind, because all of this is mind. All of this is mind. All of this that tries to rectify, understand, believe, hope, change, improve, create is mind. It's not our true original state in its whole. You see, it's a part of what we are, mind. So mind, when it gives up its duality, it surrenders it, it gives it up, it says, I've had enough. Not this, not this. Nothing is bringing me closer to that what I truly know exists within me. It reverts to this non-dual state. It just diminishes. It just absolutely, as the sages say, chooses to ignore that what it has believed and been conditioned and programmed into. So it is a form of dehypnosis, if that's what you want to call it. So it's very silly for any speaker to categorize what is taking place. So to say it's spiritual is foolish. To say it's religious is foolish. To say it's self is foolish. Emptiness foolish. Human is foolish. All of these things are foolish because it takes you out of what you truly are. Now, what's wrong with that, you see? What's wrong with being a dual person? Nothing. And there's no one that actually really controls it. So even the surrendering of mind is done with a deep longing from something within you. So you're going on with your life and you're saying, yeah, it's just part of life, this suffering. Yeah, even though he hates me, it's just part of life. Even though that job it avoided me and they gave it to some other fool, it's just part of life. I have to accept all that. Yeah. Non-duality is when there is no accepting or non-accepting. There is, because everything is experienced as it is. Everything is experienced as one whole, unified consciousness or life or universe. So what takes place when one says, and of course this enlightened state is true, but it's an enlightenment of the mind and the body. Because it's really, how can a body and a mind completely remain living in such a naturally imbalanced livingness and be completely in bliss? And of course the mind would say, what's the point? You know, yes, you're in bliss from the day you're born to the day you die. What did you experience? In bliss. Yeah, but what else did you experience? Suffering. Bliss. How do you know it's bliss? I don't know it's bliss because I've never experienced an opposing value to bliss. So that what gives up non-duality. Okay, let me explain to what takes place. When someone that is always non-dual diverts or moves into the dual states, you know, you go to school and the school teacher says this is different from that, the parents say this is different from that, you are separate, you will be hurt, you will be bullied, you will be you have to stand up for yourself against that, against them, against all. This dual mind is completely ingrained within you until you actually long to get out. Something longs for you to come home. And it's not a death, you see. It's not, you have to die to experience this profound self that you are. So when enlightenment takes place, the mind enhances itself, because what has happened, the mind is turned round. It's given up this external world, this external idea that it can be something other than what it is, or it can fit in, or it can be successful, or it has to be a failure. It gives up all these ideas and concepts. It gives up the idea that it's a body. It gives up the idea that there's something that is I have to do in this life, before I can be accepted. It gives up that ridiculous idea. But it's not a ridiculous idea when you're looking for it, you see? That's why there's no opposing values, because some are looking for it and some are giving it up. And the ones giving it up are saying, don't look for it anymore. And the ones that are looking for it are saying, why are you giving up? You see? So the mind turns around and witnesses its original non-dual state. It can even go further and witness its nothing state, which this experience would call this one moment, this extinction of all needs to search. But let's stick with the non-dual state. The non-dual state means I am in bliss. It's like a child leaves home. Home is non-duality. The child leaves home and goes into the dual world. It gets lost. It's completely alone. It's completely lonely. And it turns around, and one day, out of the blue, it sees, my God, that's my home. My parents are in there. And there's this incredible bliss, Sat Chit Ananda, hugging embrace. And for a human body that's been living a dual life for maybe 50 years, that's a long time to be lost, So the embrace lasts for maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 years. So giving up non-duality means I don't have to embrace my parents anymore. I don't have to realize I'm home anymore. I can just sit here and wait. So duality starts coming in because you start looking out the window again. You say, oh yeah, look at that, wonderful. Yeah, I feel separate again. I feel as if that I can walk in the grass. And you start using this I again. So to actually say you're giving up non-duality, are you surrendering non-duality? No, of course you're not, because there's no one can surrender non-duality. The mistake from teachers and enlightenment and all these is there is a shift from duality to non-duality and then to emptiness. And you have to remain like that for the rest of your goddamn birth cycles. That's not going to take place. It never takes place in life. We have 3 sections of the day. We have the work day, the chore, and then we have the enjoyable period, which not many actually experience now because we work so hard, so long hours, and we sleep so long because we have to re-energize our body. So the third state, of course, is deep sleep. That's that nothing state. Yeah. The work state is the duality state. Or actually, it could be the opposite. The work state could be the non-duality state. If you're in a job and you're not thinking about the negativity of the world and what's going on, and you just simply enjoy your job. And then the third state is that playful state. Yeah, you can be non-dual in that state. You can meditate. You can do satsangs. You can run naked in the landscape. You can do anything you like, provided it's within the country's guidelines and laws. So non-duality, giving up non-duality, it's not a foolish thing to say. It's just that I know I am never not non-dual. I know I'm never not dual. I know I'm never not born. I know I'm never not dying. I know I'm never not living. I am the whole thing. Okay? And I can experience being dual, non-dual, and whatever terms the mind wants to come up with. Because the mind will come up with so many terms of how we live our life. And a speaker to say, I'm surrendering anything, is a speaker, if the speaker is genuine, is saying, I'm surrendering the thoughts, the things that are not physical, the imaginations, the fantasies, the past, the future. I'm surrendering all these things that are not actually taking place in this moment. But I cannot surrender this moment. I cannot surrender that is what is taking place in the moment, because that's nature. Because nature can take this body out right now. So who is the controller? The controller is the mind that wants to take itself into that world of illusion, that world of maya, that world of dream, that world of experiences. It's not a bad place. But when you experience your home, when you are non-dual, those that have experienced this profound shift, return to the original non-dual state, will realize it appears like I'm giving it up. It appears like I'm being pulled into this dual world again. But I'm not going to travel far away from home again. I may go to the end of the path and be dual, but I'm not going to go fall into the trap of ego and run away from home and get lost again. I'm quite happy to be at home in this moment, but I'm also quite happy to play around the garden and see what's going on in life and completely interact with the people and the friends and the animals and nature and the seasons of this life. So everything is okay. Non-dual, dual, empty, nothing, suffering, pain, everything is okay when you see the whole picture of consciousness as it is.